What's up, guys? Today is a very special call because we have Hustle Home Mom and Posh Hanger, Monica. So Monica and Ashley on our call, but this is a kind of super special group because we have all four coaches in our Patreon here. So for
Yeah.
people listening on YouTube, feel free to ask questions. And this will be a call about overcoming eBay struggles. And Ashley and Monica wanted to do a group call and answer questions. So I'll let you guys take over. Monica, what's up? What's on your mind?
Hi. Well, first, thank you everyone for joining. So Thursday is my usual coaching slot for the Facebook group. And I was so excited to invite Ashley to come on with me today. Thank you, Ash.
Oh my gosh, this is a dream come true. And this is like, we just chat. Monica and I chat often on the phone about a variety of topics. And it's just so fun to now include more people in our whatever we talk about.
I know this is a group conference call.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love how, Chris, you point out all the coaches are here. We have Jack who keeps disappearing on me, who's also, he's on Fridays, and Tech. He goes incognito on my calls, but he's there.
Yeah, he's there in the chat. He shows up.
Yeah,
Always consistent, always there.
yeah, always consistent. We know what's going on his tombstone. Not much consistent. This guy.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you everyone for joining. So yeah, I think we could just dive right in. And I was saying previously, if anybody wants to jump in with opinions, questions, please do so. I definitely want this to be an open and welcoming forum for all of us. So like Ashley says, we talk all the time. I know when the phone rings, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be at least an hour or two. We could go on for 3 hours. I mean, we're like, can we just wear a GoPro and talk all day? Because I want you to see what I'm doing and I want to talk at the same time.
Yes, you're too far away. You're just too far away.
I
We
know.
need to be closer to
I
each
need to
other.
come back. So I've been friends with Ashley now. Are we going on like 3, 4 years?
Yeah, I think
5 years?
so.
Yeah, and I think there's a few things that bonded us right away, and that was what Chris was talking about earlier, the mental struggles or hurdles, fighting with eBay, the eBay algorithm. And I feel like these are topics like overcoming our mental hurdles that I feel like a lot of us could benefit from. And maybe it's not talked about enough, like on Instagram and on social media. It's like, oh, look at my numbers and look at my fines. And I'm definitely guilty of it, though I do try on my stories to talk about it. But you're not alone. We all have these sluggish days. We all get down. We all question ourselves. We all feel like we're not at times doing enough. We all hit walls. So that's what we really want to talk about. And if we have time, I'd also, I know Ashley has been having record sales on eBay. And she just posted, she just crossed 20K for the first time on her 90-day number. And I'm right now working on kind of balancing eBay and Amazon. And I've kind of hit a few PRs with the two together as far as balance. So I'm happy to talk about just logistically what we've been doing. And Ashley is pregnant with the baby boy. So she's got that on top of her two little ones.
Oh my gosh.
And
What is
how are you finding
why?
balance here?
I'm not. I'm not. And everything's crazy. That's just what I'll just put out there. No, it's so important, like Monica, we talk about this all the time, like putting emotion, like if I waited till I felt like it, I'm gonna just wait till I listen to just so I feel like it. I would literally like not do it.
Yeah.
So, Mel Robbins talks about this. Just if you wait till you feel like listing or till you feel like, hitting that goal, you'll never feel like it. And there's many days, there are some days where I'm like, all right, I'm in the zone, I'm excited, let's go. I would say probably most days I'm not there, but that's where like the consistency just takes over. You're just like, well, this is just what I do. Even if I'm not in the mood, even if I don't feel like it, this is just my daily routine. And I do it whether I feel like it or not. And then that habit just gets ingrained and you're just like, all right, this is just how I have to roll,
Yeah. And I feel like, do you ever feel like you just live in chaos? And if it's ever quiet and there's no fire burning, you're like, what do I do? I don't know how to, so even like 5 minutes before this call, I'm running around. Oops, I just dropped my mouse. My sister's here helping me, and I'm like trying to clean this area, and I'm like, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going live in like 2 minutes. I'm like getting this rack ready, and I was just like, I gotta hide this hole that's in my closet that I threw my Dymo, but that's another YouTube. And I told her I literally don't know what to do if it's not chaotic, because that's just like I feel a side thing that happens when you're trying to do everything.
Mhm.
And I think you said something right, is that, and we've talked about this, balance. I'm not balancing anything. I don't ever feel like I'm zen with my business. I feel like I get in moments where I hit my stride, like you hit your stride, but then of course it's life. We all deal with something happens. It could be personal, it could be business, it could be anything. And then you're thrown off kilter, and then you're back to that chaotic pace again.
Mhm.
So I think, like, for me, I've been trying to redefine what balance is, and also redefine what it means when people say, I want it all, or you can't have it all, or like trying to redefine those two things of redefining what does having it all mean to you, and redefining what does balance mean to you. So does it mean everything is exactly, all your main activities and priorities are 10% each evenly? No.
Right.
You mathematically can't, because if you're doing this, then these others falter a little bit.
Mhm.
So I think for me, I've been trying to just redefine what balance is, and controlling the chaos is how I'm trying to redefine my balancing act. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And yeah, like you're exactly right. There's not like a I give 10% here, 10% here, and it all equals this perfect balanced medium. It's no, there's days I have to throw a lot of my focus into one thing. And
Yeah.
then the next day I throw my focus into another thing. And you're just trying to juggle and keep the balls in the air and do the best you can. And we learn too, like let's say I put a lot of focus into eBay and Amazon's dropping a little. All right, I'll just push my gas a little bit more on Amazon, and then eBay might falter a little. And for me, it's like, and then YouTube falters a little, and then I
Yeah.
just have to put more energy into that. And I think the key is to just keep putting just don't give up on one of the streams, one of the machines. If they're working, keep them going. And it's okay if sometimes you let your foot off the gas a little bit here to push your foot down here, like with like it for you with you kind of let go of eBay a little bit last year to just full throttle with Amazon, and it completely paid off, and that was what you needed to do at the time, and you knew eBay would still be there. It'll be okay, you can bring it back because you're Monica, you can do anything. And that was the right time and the right momentum for you. And there's been times where my kids, like last year, they needed me for homeschool. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, that's where
Yeah.
my focus has to be primarily. And the world didn't end, life went on and everything is fine. And now eBay's thriving. But there's just these times and seasons for everything where you have to just refocus, readjust. But I think you've only really, I don't want to even say failed, but when you give up and you just completely let something go, that's when I try to avoid getting to that place of like I just want to quit X.
Yeah.
Like no, it's okay, let's just reassess and come back at it slowly, right? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And I do like that we're talking about this, because like I was saying, on social media, sometimes you do see people and you're like, wow, how did they keep it all together? Then there must be something wrong with me specifically. Like, there must be something wrong with me specifically. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, because I am not flourishing like this person over here. And I think it's really important to display and talk about, like, when we are getting burnt out, what we're doing to keep pushing forward, or just keep pushing forward.
Right, just keep
Uh,
pushing. Yes,
just keep
keep
pushing forward.
one step at a time.
Yeah, and I always say, like, who cares? I kid around and I tell my friends, like, I'm part of the turtle crew. Like, it's fine. I will go really slow, but at least I'm trying to move.
Mhm.
And I always say, like, we don't live in a Ross picture frame where everyone's happy all the time and everything's perfect.
Right.
Like, it's chaotic.
Mhm.
And Chris is going to find out about that to the next level
Oof.
pretty soon. So
I'm
Chris,
ready.
you have any,
I'm ready.
so what are your plans? Because you got your baby coming. I mean,
So,
how are you going to balance?
well, I figured out the problem with my eBay business is me. So as long as if I can eliminate myself, then it will be good. So just like to give you guys an idea, this is
Yeah.
um I've got Aaron and Angie here. Aaron is describing items for me.
Mhm.
Angie photographs the items. I have a new person packing the items for me. Virtual assistants draft. So hopefully, all I have to do when the baby arrives is launch drafts and ship. So if that can be, because I was thinking about what you guys were saying, and I really like this book called The E-Myth Revisited. And basically, you're alternating between entrepreneur, which is the person thinking about where you want to go, technician, that's the person listing, taking photographs, doing all the work part, and then you're also the manager. You have to manage your own time when you are working for yourself and design a lifestyle. That's why I was trying to, like, I was talking to Ashley about YouTube. Like, I need to meet some more full-time YouTubers to see what their day looks like. Like, I know bring your camera wherever, but like that's like saying list every day. It's
Yeah.
too vague. I need to know, like, how do you actually release a video every single day? I met a YouTuber that releases 3 videos every single day, and he's done that for 10 years, and he makes $11 million a year on YouTube. Like,
Gosh.
that's insane. There's levels of people doing that. 3 videos a day, every day. So I mean, there's things like that. Oh, and all 3 videos are 20 minutes long. So I was looking at his day, and I was like, that's amazing, right? And then you have Tech in the group who accomplishes like all of us combined. It's
Yeah.
interesting looking at his productivity level is so high. And I think
Extreme.
that I've learned so much from him, like put everything back at the end of the day, have a cue ready, all these little things that are the opposite of worrying about. Like for me, if my day is not set, I'll get emotional. I don't know what to do next. I'll start to feel like
Frazzled.
I wasted an hour. Like Monica, I feel like on Wednesdays, you do sourcing, I do Wednesdays sourcing. That day, I'm not frazzled. I already know what I'm going to do that
Me
day,
neither. Me neither.
right? But
Mhm.
the other days, if it's not set, then it's very hard because you emotion sets in when you're idle.
Yeah.
That's why Ashley, she gave a hint too, because I know she's running a household and a business. She said she can't sit down, so I'm sitting down right now, but they're not sitting. So
Yeah.
like, if you sit down, it's a wrap. I like that concept because, especially after you've been working all day, that's it. If you sit down, so I got to keep the momentum going, and like when I'm shipping, I'm never depressed when I'm shipping.
Yeah.
No one
Because
gets depressed while they're
you're
shipping.
not, I think it's the idle. I think that you hit that on the head.
You can't be idle.
You can't be idle. I was uh, talking with Tech and I was saying, like, when I'm in the moment and I'm doing the motions of the shipping, the sourcing, where I know exactly what I'm doing, I don't question myself. But as soon as I'm idle and I step away, more of like a macro view, then all of a sudden I'm like, where am I? Who am I? What's my name? Am I wearing clothes? Okay, good. Like, what am I doing? Because I'm so used to being busy. But back to what you said, Chris, about, because this is something I figured out really clearly, back to balancing and keeping everything going, that you figured out what was wrong with your business is you. So, and along the lines of what you said, I feel the same way. So, I'm trying to get eBay back up. It's doing great, but it's crazy how much of the time on eBay is spent on the little extras and they add up. So right now I have a photographer and I have a lister. So you would think like, oh, it's really shouldn't be that bad because that's 2 big things knocked off your list. But no, you do have the sourcing, which I'm still doing one by one. And I do pick up the slack if maybe one needs a day off or whatever. I still have to put the inventory away. I have to answer all the questions on the messages. I have to ship. I have to pool the shipping. It adds up. So the secret sauce for us is the sourcing. That's where our secret sauce is. That I don't want to replace until I able to The only way I could hire that out, it would be a lot harder. But the shipping, all of that, I tell myself I need to just get it. I need to delegate it and get it off my plate, because all those little increments of 10, 20, 30 minutes, they add up, and then times it by the week. But the sourcing, that is where your money is made and lost. And that is like you, Ash. I remember when you started, thrifting, like, and then fast forward to now when I see your hauls and I'm like, this girl, man, she's come a long way. But
We
that's
all
the secret
learn.
sauce, right?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah, and I don't know that anyone can shortcut that education. When you're
No.
out looking and finding things and making purchases that go well and some that don't, there's just nothing, there's no bolo list. There's no list will just be a shortcut. Oh, now I've arrived. It's like, no, because some things, like, sell great for some people and not for others. And your store is just very specific. And yeah, like, you just have to hone that's something that, again, you can't outsource very easily, the sourcing, because it's so, this is what I pick up, this is what my store is used to. And I think even eBay, like, gets used to what you list, and
Mhm.
and gets used to, like, the brands that you tend to put in your store. And anytime I'm throwing any little curveballs into my store of something different, I feel like it has a hiccup moment where it's like, wait, hold on, this isn't
Switch
what you
it up
normally
and
list.
choose it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So but you're right though, you guys are smart to outsource. I'm going to have to get to that point. I want to get to that point where I'm hiring a VA and a photographer and somebody else. I think for the moment, I'm going to continue to try to do as much as I can, because I
Mhm.
want to ramp up and build capital, even more capital now.
Mhm.
So I'm going to try to just continue to do what I can by myself, but I will get to that point where I need to hire out a few things.
Ashley, what
Mhm.
would you hire out first?
Oh, that's a great question. Listing. I think I don't mind photographing. I have a pretty fast system for photographing, and I would say, yeah, the listing, which I know I could hire a VA to do, and I know others have been really successful doing that. Every person I've hired has been a struggle, and I think my own anxieties get in the way too, of like, "Oh, I don't want to correct them. I feel bad." It's almost easier when I just take it on myself and, like, continue to beat myself up. Much easier to make myself the punching bag. But I do think I'm gonna have to cross that bridge and say, okay, I'm gonna hone the skills of whoever I hire. To They're gonna not be so great at first. I'm just gonna keep teaching them, and then I can outsource that thing. And then, shipping. I would love if someone shipped for me. You know, but I was gonna say too, I see in some of the questions in the comments, like, how consistent, like, tech is, or how, Monica, how far you've come, and Chris. And I remember back to when, like, tech would do 100 a day. Now he's doing 250. It's just that slow build. Okay, what are you doing? What can you maintain? And then you just keep building on that little by little. How much, and it's those little baby steps that get you a year down the road to the top of Everest, like, just those little, one step at a time, that gets you to those places where you look like, even now, I kind of look back. I thought 10K was impossible for me part-time. And now I look back and I'm like, hey, I have come a distance. I thought I was going
Yeah.
nowhere, but
Amazing.
everything, it's okay. And it's working. And I can just keep one step at a time, 10 listings a day, 15 listings a day, whatever. So it
Mhm.
just happens over time, I think. And eBay is a good discipline in that regard, because it doesn't, like, just come immediately. eBay is a slow burn and a slow build, and you put that elbow grease into your store, and you get the feedback, and you hone your practice. And I think that's a really, it's a healthy discipline in that regard, because it's a slow build, but once you get it, it's a machine that just keeps
Mhm.
printing money for you.
Yes, and that's why it's been so hard to let it go. And people are like, why don't you just let it go if Amazon's doing so much better? Absolutely not. I spent almost a decade honing
Yes.
that sucker. No way am I letting it go. But Jack was trying to show us a video game, and I know where he's going to go with this. We're talking about sourcing being the secret sauce. What are you going to tell us, Jack?
Yeah, it's just
I know what you're going to say,
it's
silly.
it's been pretty crazy with the stimulus money, all that kind of stuff. I mean, recently sales have been really incredible, and especially video games. So it's been pretty good.
but I've heard you mention, I thought that you were going to say this, is one of the times we're talking about hiring with you, and you were saying you brought up an example of a video game, and you were like, anyone would have passed this one, but it was like this specific one had, extra value or something like that.
Yeah, it's just that, but it's hard to trust someone else to, like, especially when you're on Amazon, where like mistakes can really hurt your business. Like if someone gets the wrong item or something like that. So it's really hard to start trusting someone to do the listing for you. For me, probably, since I do a lot of Amazon, I probably would have someone list on eBay or something like that if I were to get some help.
Yeah, just get any help. That would be great. Back to what you were saying, Ashley, about the slow build. And like I was saying, I call myself the turtle crew because everything, my MO, when I look back, and man, it's nice to have, it's so nice and just like, I don't know, the word maybe sexy when you see someone, they just come in and overnight, they're just great, and that's so cool. And I wish that was me, but that's not me. I wish it was. Maybe I just don't have that gear. I don't know. But when I think back on everything, all of my personal life with like either sports and my corporate career, eBay, Amazon, my MO has always been slow. And I always felt bad about it because, like I said, I would see someone else and they would just come out the gates swinging and just good. And that's when I would question myself, like maybe this reselling isn't for me then, because why is it taking me longer? Um, and that was a mental hurdle for me. And this was only after I joined Instagram, because I had no social media the first like half of my reselling career almost. But for anyone out there, if it is, because I'm looking at a comment here, Ken and Faith says, how do you overcome the hurdle of when you list daily and sales bounced up and down? Is it a struggle mentally? It is a struggle, absolutely. To see it hit a 400 daily and then 150 and then back up and down, 1,000%. But that's where mental toughness, and that's where that will weed out some people. Don't let that be you. And even someone who has an established account like myself, you would think, oh, I never have those days. I still have those days. I still have those days. And I'm sure Ashley does, we all do. I feel like, yes, it will level off. So the variances they won't swing so much, but it's a slow build. So I would just say, just keep going and be the person that doesn't quit, because that would break some people. So
Absolutely. And that emotion of like we and Monica and I talk about this too, where like we see some people get caught up in emotions when it comes to sales and emotions about a platform, or or maybe one customer was frustrating and it's like, that's it, I'm done, or whatever. And this is just one business where you really cannot let yourself go there, because it just has to be that daily consistency. And yeah, the ups and downs, like you can't control how many sales you get in a day, but you can control how much you list, how much value you put into your store, the stuff you find. Like those are all good things you can control. And that's why I never keep track on my calendar of my sales. I keep track of my miles I run, my listings I get up, the FBA shipments I get out. Like those are things I can control, and I can actually check off and say, okay, if I had a goal every day to have 500 in sales, that's a lot, I feel like, less realistic than just saying, I did my part, and mathematically eBay will then show up and do its part.
yeah, and this is probably a good point then to slide in some logistics. So for me, I have in my head a goal of what I want. I think we all kind of do, we know what we want to hit per month, week, whatever. But I am like you. I have activities that I do not skip on. Now, the times where I am swinging up and down, the variance is high, low, high, it's when I am definitely not doing I call them my non-negotiables. So that's what I do every single day on eBay. And what a coincidence. When I don't do those things, my sales are way more inconsistent. What a coincidence, right? So for me, I always talk about this in my stories, but in the morning, the first thing I do is check messages. And the next thing I do is I look at what all the available offers are every single day. I know some people do like weekly, and again, you got to do what works for you. So I send out all the available offers. That's the first thing. The next thing I do is I take a look at my active and I sort by ending soonest. So obviously if it's under 24 hours, it'll be in red. It'll be like, 17 hours, 13 minutes left, whatever. So I take a look at those and I make a decision. Am I going to end these and sell similar, or is there watchers? I think that it might sell on its own. So then I pluck the ones out that are less than the 24 hours. I end them. And I basically kind of collect them in my unsold category until I will get to them like in the next, sometimes that day, but in the next day or two. So that's the next thing I do. And then after that, I list 5 items. I try to do it in the morning. I call it waking my store up. It's like me telling eBay, eBay's taking attendance, and I'm like, I'm here. Look, I'm here. I'm listing like a good little eBay girl. So I go and I do my 5 listings. And so what I try to do with that, because my sister does my listings, is I try to always have at least 5 from the night. Like say she did, I don't know, 30 listings the day before or whatever she did. I try to always have 5 at least, even though I want to have like quick figures to list it all, but that just works for me. During the middle of the day, I send another batch of offers. And then at night before I go to bed, I send another batch of offers. And then depending on when my sister got drafts done for that day, which is the bulk of them, I will go in and make them live. So basically my sister does all of the drafts, all the information. So all I put in is the price of the item. And if I see something like, oh, I'm going to change the title just a smidge, but she's gotten really good. And then that's it. And I make it go live. So, and then of course ship. So that's it. Those are my non-negotiables that I do every day. Do you do something similar, Ash?
Yes, I've got my listings I do. Now I'm not as consistent on when I get them up. But I do get 10 to 15 up a day, sometimes more. I do a run every single day. That's something that's one of my non-negotiables, but now that I'm pregnant, it's more like a waddle walk. It's real cute. And then I always, get an FBA shipment out at least a couple times a week. And that's not a daily, I guess, non-negotiable, but it's a weekly one where, all right, Ash, did you get your 2 shipments out? And I have my husband takes them to UPS for me. And then, what content have I created that week? What have I filmed? What have I edited? And at least 1 video a week is my current. That's my low. I need to do more, but that's like I'm giving myself some grace because life is a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and but with eBay especially, it's almost irrefutable. As much as eBay says, oh, you don't have to list every day to get results. You can list 50 one day and not. And I did that for a while and it seemed fine. But now that I've literally listed every day since the beginning of the year. I have seen such growth that I'm like, well, it's undeniable to me at least that listing every day and being consistent every single day, even just a little bit, is super beneficial for your store. And I will check on, and this isn't, I'm not as consistent with sending out offers. I do that once a month in bulk when I'm between running sales and promotions in my store. And I will just use that gap when my sales have ended to then send out bulk offers. And then usually it's going out to 200, 300 people. And then once that window is closed, that 48-hour offer window, I will reset a sale and have it going for a month. And that's just, again, my schedule looks different. Part-time with the kids, we still have Friday virtual school. So they are home with me Fridays, doing work with me. I really have 4 days of some consistency. So again, though, I'm with you with the turtle club. Like I'll be a turtle. I like this slow movement. I've seen progress and growth, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel, if someone just showed up and said, you better get 50 listings up a day right now, the end, I would just run away. Like, no, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
But instead I'm going, all right, I've mastered the 10 to 15. That's been really good. Next step, let's do 20 and see how I handle that and see how I manage that. And then, it's just these little incremental things you can do as you feel ready. And that's, as much as, we see some people who have this meteoric, really fast rocket ship ride, I just think that there's a lot more risk with that versus a slow and steady growth, slow and steady progress. And also with that comes the slow and steady, mental calluses, right? The mental toughness that comes as you expose yourself to the more stuff. And I know you say it all the time, and that's a David Goggins, right? He talks about, is it mental calluses? Like,
Yeah,
just
he does.
get used to the
Yeah.
questions that come in from buyers, or the little gut punches of like a big return, or whatever. And or like, things go wrong. I've had about 10 things go wrong just today. Where just like, this is just one of those days where, wow, this is just really not my day. But luckily, after 5 years of doing this, I'm like, all right, you just roll with the punches. Some days are great, some days not so great. And that slow build is what gives you that mental toughness. You don't earn calluses overnight. That's why I love that phrase so much. It takes time. It takes the effort and the energy. And like, Chris with running and me with running, and I know Monica, you're a runner. Like, the negative splits are the way to go, right? You start slow with a race and you finish faster than you started. And that's like proven to be a very successful way to train. And that's kind of, again, that mentality I'm trying to that's like gotten me here, even with a slow, steady build. When my kids were tiny, I did what I could. And sometimes it didn't look organized or pretty, but I just did what I could. Slow build. And now it's at a place where I've built that little foundation brick by brick. And now I can build on it because I have a little bit more time. And it just came with that patience and the growth. Nothing fast, nothing rapid for me.
Do you guys mind if I call on some people?
Sure.
Oh, please.
Sarah, I don't see you too often. Can you share what's going on in your store? Maybe a struggle? Because there's people on YouTube saying we never call on other people, and people are asking questions, but feel free if you want to chat, just let me know.
What's going on in my store? Is that what you said? Sorry, it threw me off.
Yeah. What's going on in your store, and what struggles are you working through?
I have two kids. I have a high schooler and an almost 4-year-old. So with COVID, I've just been trying to like figure out how to mom and work at the same time. So with school all being at home, I guess like consistency. It's just, I have a couple employees that I work with, and they're doing good, but it's like, then somebody has to go, like one of the employees went back to school. So then I lost her, and then I had to retrain somebody else. So now I'm like training one girl and then trying to figure out like just the flow of everything. Like my office is a disaster, trying to get that situation straightened out. Just all the things, just chugging along. I'm a turtle.
Yeah. You're welcome in the club.
Big club.
Yeah. And I was reading some of this chat here. And let's see. Tech is like a steamroller for sure. You're going to get squashed. Anything short of getting hit by a bus is squashed. Okay, that was that. But Mark had a great comment. He said, I told my wife today that our eBay business is like a steamroller, slow, steady pace, but it's moving and flattens out all the rocky portions in our path. And I do feel that for sure. Then we did have a question. Monica, how many new are you listing daily, and how many old sold similar? So right now, I'm actually not doing a ton. I'm doing about 100 to 115 listings a week, but I am trying to pick up better items, one. And on my Thursday calls, I've talked a few times about, I have implemented a few multi-quantity listings, and I feel like those are greatly impacting my overall sales, even though I don't get a ton of sales directly from the multi-quantity listings. So my numbers right now are 16,500 for eBay 31 day, and just about 30K on Amazon for my 30 day. So I do feel like it'll be like eBay will be about 50% of Amazon. I think that I'm still testing that out. But back to the multi-quantity listing, I really do feel like that has been instrumental in me in my like comeback on eBay, because what everything is about traffic. Everything is about traffic, just like in any store, right? The more traffic you get on eBay, it's telling eBay's algorithm, oh, her store is hot, her store is happening, like it's the place to be. So even though my multi-quantity listing, so I only have 2 or 3 right now, actually 2 because I sold out. And they are Xbox controllers, like nothing fancy. They're pre-owned Xbox controllers mostly. But those things are getting so many views. Like, so I have one listing that has like 12,000 views and another one that had, I think it's like around 5,000. So even though I'm only selling some days 0, like I've sold 0 today, some days I'll have 1, 2, they trickle in. Definitely don't, it's not the bulk of my sales, not anywhere close. However, the spike in traffic and views is bringing overall more traffic to my entire store. So that is something new that I was testing out and it's working. So if you have, and I kind of thought about it in the Amazon sense, and it's like it's basically the equivalent of having a great ranking listing on Amazon and you just keep renewing it. So even though I sell out, let's say I have a red Xbox controller and I sell out of that one. Of course, I'm not ending that. I'm never end a multi-quantity listing because you'll have to start all over with the history, the sales history. So what I do is it goes to quantity of 0. Then say I find new controllers, then I recycle that listing. I recycle that multi-quantity listing so it stays with all the views and watchers, and it's still a similar item. It may just be a different model, but the same console. I don't even think that matters, but I recycle them. And I feel like because of that, I'm able to get these great numbers without having to list. Like before, for me to hit like 16, 17K, I was listing double, like probably closer to 200 a week. And now I'm at about 100 and 115. And when I look at my sales graph, my traffic graph, I can correlate it directly to those multi-quantity listings.
Can I ask a question
Uh-huh.
about traffic? I'm a full-time seller. Hey, how are you?
Hi.
I list about 50 items a day, and then 30 older items are taken off, redone, and then put back on. But my question is about traffic. I don't understand the eBay analytics very well. I'm wondering if anybody has a handle on that, and is there anything that we can do to do anything with that information? That's what I find the most difficult about this. I owned a brick and mortar store. I understood how to get people to come into my store. I understood what I needed to do to get them. I don't understand this. I'm wondering if anyone can talk on that.
Do you promote your listings, Trish? Do you use any promoted listings percentage?
I do.
Okay.
I do
What
anywhere
percent?
from 1 to 15, depending. I try different ones, but everything is always promoted. And I always run a sale, a fake sale, I suppose, as you guys talk about in the group. I'm always having a sale. One ends, I do it in 2-day increments. So it always is ending and always starting. Yeah, so I do both of those.
Okay. Because I know that's helped me. Monica, you're probably more of the pro in this. Promoting at a higher percentage for me. And I don't even redo sales very often. I just do it once a month now. You know, I don't, yeah, I've seen just a very steady and consistent traffic in my store since I've been promoting more. I promoted about 9 or 10% for everything. And then I've reduced my sales percentage as per advice Chris and Tech have been giving this year. And that has been a huge spike in my views. And also just my store, I think knowing I'm listing daily, and it could be just a combination of all three, the daily listing, the promotion, and the sales that I run. But Monica, what are your insights with that?
Wait, did you say you went up on your promoted listings?
Me?
Ash? No,
Oh, no,
Ash,
Ashley.
because you used to be at 1%, right?
Whoops. Yes, I used to just do 1 or 2%, and then I tried
I do.
reducing my sales percentage from 30 to 20, and going up in the promoted to 9 to 10, and I've seen a huge
So
shift.
now you're in the big boy percent. That's what I call
I'm with
10.
the big boys. Yeah.
He does the double digit
Yep.
promotion at 10%. So
Yeah.
I still do 2.
Okay.
But this is my thinking though. This is why I only do 2. Only in the beginning. And I generally, okay. So have you ever noticed when you go to grab your shipping that a lot of the stuff that you're shipping is the newer stuff you listed? Once in a while you'll grab an oldie, but a lot of the times it's the newer stuff. Newer meaning like within a week, 2, 3 weeks, not like months ago. So I know this. I know that when you first list your item, the very first fresh listing, not an end sell similar, your fresh, organic, new listing. At that moment you hit enter is the best organic push and boost in search you're going to get that very first time. So that gives your item its best chance to sell. In my opinion, that item would have sold in that little time frame, not saying month later, but in that time frame anyways. So I don't want to give eBay 10% when I think that item would have sold on its first go around. So on that I do 2%. Since being in the group, however, Ashley, I agree. Hearing like Chris and Tech and everyone be like, I'm at 10%. I'm like, that is so much. That is so much. I don't want to do it. But then I thought, well, maybe
before everyone goes crazy and does 10%.
Yeah.
It depends on your category. Okay,
True.
like some people don't need promoted listings at all.
Right.
So
I was just going to talk about that.
you have to be careful. It depends on your store. Some items, if you're selling Morona and there's 4,600 other people selling Morona, you might need free shipping, free returns, $8, 25% promoted listings. We don't know if it's that competitive and no one wants it. Maybe you need to buy that placement. But if you're selling $100 bill for $99, you don't need anything.
Right. Yeah.
One picture, $100 bill is your title, $99 price. It will sell in one day.
Right. If you have a hot in demand item, you don't need
it.
Yeah,
So,
we're definitely, that was a great point. Talking
you
about
know, Monica, that really makes me think if I want to try like a 2-week nothing, like because my fake sale. So a lot of people are asking
10% in the first go around.
People are asking about
One
what a fake sale is. Okay, so there's a couple things here that make me wonder. One, if you run a fake sale, it takes 12 hours for your item to index. In the first 12 hours, you get the best match boost. So those people who see it don't see it at the price you're willing to sell it at. They see it at this artificially high price, and maybe they've moved on and bought something else, right? So the first 12 hours, you kind of miss that traffic. Plus, eBay might think, is this person high? Why is their price so high? And then after 12 hours later, it gets marked down. So the fake sale is interesting because mine ended a few days ago and my sales were almost the same. So it's like once in a while, maybe let your fake sale end. And a fake sale is when you artificially mark up your price.
Yeah.
For me, it's 22%. So $25.63 is $19.99 plus shipping after the fake sale starts. But I would say almost every day I sell one at $25.63 before the fake sale hits. If they had just waited 3 hours, they would have got
I love that. I love when that happens.
So should you just mark it right at the price you want? No BS, no fake sale? I don't know.
And I've tried that. I tried that when I'm one of those people, if you ever want to try something, give it a good sample size. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, I tried this once or twice, and they're like, I hate it. Give it a good sample size. So one time I tried free shipping because I am not free shipping, but I tried it, but I thought, okay, but I'm also going to mirror that with, I'm just going to put my best price out there. No best offer though. I was like, I'll do free shipping. There's got to be a like exchange here. So I'll do no best offer, but I'll put like the price I would have accepted, the lowest. And initially my sales went up and then they leveled back down and I decided I didn't like that. But I do think, I don't know. So this is my current promoted listings, what I've been doing. So I mentioned that my store went cold on my last calls. My store went cold last year because of COVID when everything hit in March and thrifts closed. Then I switched to Amazon. So I had about 2,000 items. And from not listing over month, my store got less and less popular and my listings went stale. So I have a lot of stale listings in my, I'll say closet, in my store. So what I have been doing, which is new, is when I end them, I made a new category in my promoted listings. You know, like you can have, campaign 1, 2, whatever. So I made a campaign and it's literally called stale ASS items. It's called stale items. Okay. So when I end them, I throw them in the stale A items campaign. And that one I'm pushing to 10%. And I have started to see it get watchers. And then of course I send a super low offer, like just get it out of here. I want that conversion. So that has been working, but I'm still not ready to give up that 1 to 2% in the beginning. However, I think you should just keep trying things until something clicks for you. So back to Trisha's original question about the traffic, this is another thing that I keep in mind when I'm sourcing. Sometimes I'll come across an item that maybe I'm not going to make a lot on. I'm thrifting and they kind of make, sometimes the Goodwill or Savers, whatever, mark something high, but you're like, oh, I really want this. I think of it more on macro level. Okay, but this item is popular and it's going to drive traffic to my store. So it's almost along the lines of a loss leader. Not that I'm going to take a loss on it. Maybe I'll only make 5, where I don't want to only make 5. But then I'm thinking like this listing is going to become popular and it's going to bring in views. It's going to bring in traffic. So not all the way to a loss leader where I'm actually taking a loss, but I do think of that calculation when I'm thrifting. And back to the controller or this multi-quantity listing, I'm definitely not taking a loss, but I'm thinking like maybe I need to have a few more where it's like a bundle listing of something I can find. Let's just say an example, like at the dollar store, it's Easter and you can buy 3 things, like a little basket, a little trinket or whatever, put them in there, sell them for $10, but that traffic is going to light up your whole store. Anyways, that's what I have noticed with that multi-quantity listing.
And I'll add that every month is when when I'm running a sale, I tend to just this is what I've been doing, and I feel like it's not probably not good, but like once a month is when I check in and do that assessment. I send the offers, my promotions have ended. And I still get sales because I'm sending out those offers between the promotions. I'm not like double dipping with, well, it's already on sale and now I'm sending an offer. And that's when when I start the new sale of 20% off, that's what I do. I lump in everything I listed that last month and I pull in everything that I like, because I do give it a few weeks of at the price that I want and not promoted. And then I will use that month refresh to pull in everything, put it on sale, and then do the 10% promotion and then see if that works. Cause yeah, like, if it's a hot item, it'll just sell regardless of promotion or not. But that's been a way I can mentally keep track of like what's going on. If I did this multiple times a week or once a week, it'd probably be better, I guess, but my brain can't handle very much right now. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of something that I do. It's my little store organization technique.
Wait, actually, did you address this while I was gone? How do you list at night after doing all the household stuff and kids?
Right. So my husband and I have a deal where I get the kids ready for school and he puts them to bed. And so that helps me like after dinner, and he also does dishes if I cook. So that has helped a lot with my energy levels, because for some reason putting kids to bed is like, it just every drop of energy leaves my body. And I also, and like Chris and I talk about this, you don't sit down. Don't even sit down for a second. And I do try to, I'll say, today I got lucky. I got all my listings done in the day. And I don't have to list tonight, though I will probably be doing Amazon stuff tonight. Let's just be honest. I don't sit down and I save this sounds probably really stupid, but I save myself a really fun treat for like a snack, those chocolate Cadbury eggs that I love.
Mhm.
And I'll like put that here and a show that I'm wanting to watch.
Mm.
And I will just mindlessly be listing and watching my show, or, March Madness, whatever. And I'll just be watching and listing. And it's like my treat yourself time. Like I've just made work and listing actually kind of a treat, because I can watch something, I can zone out, I can just move through the motions. And if I make it special, it's a lot easier to lean into at night. It is exhausting though. And yeah, just don't, it's so tempting just to be like, I'm just going to lay down for 5 minutes. It's never 5 minutes. It's an hour. And then I'm passed out, drool on my face. And I'm like, "Oh, this is so hard. I can't get up." So that's one way to just kind of trick yourself. Hey, this is my relaxed time. I'm going to watch a show I've been looking forward to, or podcast or whatever. I'm going to have my treat. I'm going to be just, getting my listings up. And it really makes it so it's just not that bad. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I have to shout out Parvi and the Parviz in the YouTube chat saying, I think he's 72, or he or she is 72 years old and working on eBay. But I want to just point this out. This year in the Olympics, a super centenarian is carrying the Olympic torch, 118 years old.
Wow.
Okay, that's a lot. That's an old person. So we're all still very young. eBay does not discriminate. As long as you list items, they will find customers for you. So, there's not a lot of jobs that you can do at 72 that can pay like eBay. So just post items. You have to take the stairs. There's no shortcut. I've tried every shortcut. It ends up taking longer. Don't do that. Just slowly grow over time. It's much easier. And people have been talking about traffic being up and down. Only at first. My traffic isn't up and down. I have almost the same traffic and sales every day. It just takes time to build your machine up. And in the beginning, it's going to be random because your effort is random. You haven't been doing it that long. Tech was saying his sales, sorry, the alarm. Tech was saying his sales didn't even out for 10 months.
It takes months.
Just be patient, keep going. I haven't listed less than 40 items for almost 2 years now. And I never have less than 50 sales because the engine is built. It just takes a while to get to that stage, and then it'll even out because your effort is even. And eBay knows, okay, you get X amount of traffic. If you've been doing it for 3 days and you're like, why isn't it working yet? It's going to take some time. And I want people to hang in there because it's worth it. Think about eBay for the rest of your life. I'm so fired up right now because this group has been awesome. Everyone's growing. Everyone's making more money. People aren't as squirrel brained, which I was worried about. Like, I was worried people would be like, oh, there's so many ideas, but they're not doing that. People are just improving what they do. And I love it. I think that if you know what you're going to do, like, it's go time at 9 p.m. for Ashley. If she can start at 9 p.m., everybody else can start too. That's awesome. Very motivating for me.
And well, that's nice of you to say. I don't know. You don't see the tears streaming down my face at 10:30 when I'm like, why? But no, but it's consistency, I think, is 90% of any of this. Anyone who's consistent, and even if, I mean, like in the beginning, I was picking up who knows what brands, and I was like, I think this might sell, but I was consistent with listing, and that just over time it just grows. I really think, and that's what this group has helped me do and has realized, is just stay consistent, keep the course, be steady, keep listing, and the success will come. It will come if you do that.
Yeah. And
past midnight. Yeah, it's often late, especially if I'm editing a dang video that I need to get up the next day and I'm cursing Final Cut Pro and I need to get that video up. Yeah, but it happens. And you know what? I haven't died yet. So I figure it's okay and I'll be fine and I can still get up.
But no one has died from listing too hard. It hasn't happened yet. Okay. So you can list really hard and you will cry the whole time. And I think it's fine. Cause like I call it eye bleeding. Cause it's like, that's what it feels like to me, right? I'm just like looking at the screen and looking over item specifics for hours, right? That's what I'm doing. But I feel like it's okay. Like I always feel amazing when I'm done.
Yeah.
During it, I want to put this thing that says do it anyway, because I never feel like it.
Mhm.
No.
So if it just said do it anyway, I'd be like, okay, well, eBay doesn't care about my feelings. They want listings. They're a robot.
Exactly. It's so true. They don't care that I'm feeling tired, burnt out, that I cried this morning, that I'm feeling sick, that I'm feeling exhausted. It's like, get your listings up. And yeah, like I haven't died yet. I'm pregnant. I'm tired. I'm XYZ, everything under the sun, every emotion, but I have not died yet. It's still possible. And I'm like, all right, Ash, you're still here. You're still doing it. Everything is okay. Keep going. There's people who are doctors, nurses, surgeons, 9 months pregnant, Ash. I think you can get some listings out and you won't die. So that's a great point. Just keep the emotions out of it, keep going, cry if you need to, but keep pushing forward.
I have to shout out Tech again, because this saying in my head that he has 20,000 hooks in the water, or now it's now 35,000 hooks in the water.
35,000.
So I'm thinking, okay, I just passed 14,000, and he's about triple my sales. So I'm like, okay, if I just keep, I can get there. But somebody in the chat is asking about web interpret, and people ask about cross listing on Poshmark and Mercari. So I'll tell you, when I did all of that, and I've tried all of it, I never really got past 6,000 or 7,000 listings. Now that I'm only on eBay, as weird as that sounds, 14,000 listings is actually easy, because I don't have to divide my attention at all. When I used web interpret, I did have more international sales, but at what cost? I probably listed fewer items because I was spending time on another platform. You don't need to list on more than one platform. You can just be one. Now, of course, your sell-through rate might be faster if you cross list, but I just feel like you're going to make more money. Like, the one platform where people don't dabble is Amazon. I've never heard of an Amazon seller that's super into something and like, you know what? I'm going to start a Poshmark closet. I've never heard that, because it's so hard. I feel like Amazon is like for professional sellers that are all in. And Amazon also has no mercy. They will suspend you for no reason. So everyone is like really focused. But eBay, they'll take care of you no matter what. They're always there. They're old faithful. You can ignore it for a year like Monica and come back, and eBay will still reward you.
Yep.
They're here
Monica,
for you.
have you had success cross posting, or have you ever, what's been your experience with that? Because I know we've
Yeah.
both kind of tried.
Yeah, you both tried.
Yeah, we both tried. And I always felt like, so when I was cross posting from eBay to Posh, yes, I would get a few sales here on there on Posh, never anywhere near eBay. But a lot of the times when it sold, I'm like, I think it would have just sold anyways. Because it was a good item, it would have just sold on eBay anyways, and I just lost that. So I'm toying with an idea, back to my stale inventory, is maybe if you are going to cross post, and I do think cross posting is good if you only have a few items. Maybe you're not someone that wants to do 100 a day and you don't want, 50,000 listings. That's okay. Maybe you just want a small store, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like in that case, it might work. If you just always want to have 100, then yeah, since you have less hooks in the water, like Chris says, then you would want it. You would want to essentially be able to double that. So I do feel it works in certain situations. Also, if I were to cross post again and I wanted to try this just for a month to see, I would cross post on the back end, not the front end. So not when I'm making the new listing and it goes on eBay, because like I said, I think it would have sold anyways, but now it's gone stale. So now it sells anyways. Now you just wasted a minute of your life posting in a Posh. Well, now you got to go back and delete it.
Yep.
So now you just wasted that on the front end versus you did your eBay thing. Maybe it sells. So now you save yourself that minute, right? Because you're not cross posting, but maybe you cross post on the back end. So you give it a certain time, like, okay, I'm going to see if this item sells in 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, whatever your time frame. And then you start cross posting on the back end. I could see that working, because then you're turning over your inventory and your sell-through rate will be better. But again, that depends on your business model, how many listings you have, etc. So I don't think it's gloom and doom for all business models, but for something that you're trying to build this huge, store like Chris and Tech, I like how they're doing it.
I have one more thought, then I'll shut up. I really like this. I want everyone to think about your time being worth $50 an hour or more. Everyone in this call, your time is worth over $50 for sure. So somebody did the math in the group saying it takes them 12 minutes to do a listing. When you cross list, it definitely takes like 10 minutes because you have to learn that platform. You have, even though if you're an eBay seller, listing on Poshmark is the easiest thing ever. It's like so easy. It's like level one compared to how hard eBay is. Even though that 10 minutes, right? So it's costing you $10 worth of time to cross list. If you think of it that way, you won't cross list because your time is worth so much more. And we have Chaz, shout out the Side Hustle Network in the chat. He says as Amazon sellers, he lives in fear every day. eBay sellers don't live in fear. Not really. Not really. So it's just that it's a little more active. You got to get in there, you got to get dirty and list. And I don't think anyone has died listing, but someone said, I don't want to speak too soon. I'm going to jinx it for someone.
Yeah,
but like just I think that cross listing, it's just so time consuming. I even built a robot. It still took time. I think about all these things I learned, and Tech is using the okay. I was gonna go visit Tech and talk. He is like maybe the greatest one-off seller that I've ever met, right?
100%.
More than 7 figures in sales. His entire equipment is probably $150 total.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing fancy.
Right.
And it's no one copies that. Everybody wants something fancy or a more complicated version, even me. But I'm starting to learn, you know what? It's just the more complicated it is, the more difficult it is to repeat. And that's what just, that's why I love the baby training. I realize now that I'm just a big baby because look at how structured they have the day designed for a baby because babies need help. I need help. I need some structure. I can't just wing it. I have too many goals to just wing it. It's too hard. It's like a YouTube video sounds easy until like you have to figure out, you have to say something that people actually want to listen to. Then you got to deal with people slapping you in the face all day. So it's like, it's a lot. eBay is different though. eBay is a gentle master that will reward you as long as you're active.
Oh yeah, no, eBay is, I always picture eBay for me like my steady husband, and Amazon is the sexy sidekick, and I don't know what's gonna happen there, and I'm just don't know what's gonna, but I can't leave the steady hubby that's provided for me for almost a decade, you know.
Well, I think that I don't plan on breaking up with eBay ever.
Me neither. I don't either.
And my wife is like, I'm so fortunate that I have because eBay, I consider it kind of still a hobby. She's like, I could be doing stuff that costs money. How many hobbies earn you money? It's very rare. You could do it forever. I plan on having my eBay store forever. Is everyone in this group, if you take care of your account, it'll make you tens or hundreds or millions of dollars over the course of your lifetime. Even if you're in your 70s and you run your store until you're 118, it's going to be awesome. I always call eBay the golf of business because as long as you're mobile, you can play.
It's so true.
Yeah,
it's not
true.
Amazon's kind of, I feel like Amazon's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. Amazon's just a different beast. I mean, now being more, having that being my number one platform now, and really been through it with Amazon. I've been through it. I've been suspended. I've had to write a POA to keep my account. I've been in limbo with them. I've had the angry customers. I've had it all. I know, the thing is though, I know exactly where I stand with Amazon. And that's where I could just be shut down like that. And I know that. And yes, Amazon sellers, like we do have, but that being said, there's a lot of things you can do to minimize your risk on there. Jack, one of the most risk averse people I know that on Amazon, you could definitely do, there's a lot of things you can do so you're not putting yourself out there, but it's definitely, it's a two totally different feelings. eBay feels like a warm blanket and Amazon feels like a cold, jail sell kind of. It's not friendly, but it's the way it pays, man. It's
It
just
pays.
different.
Tech
It,
might be the only person that does millions of dollars on eBay that everybody knows. But there's a lot of people who do millions of dollars on Amazon. Tons.
yes, yes, exactly. There's a ton of
Yeah.
people that I
Ton.
know that do millions on Amazon.
Yeah.
There's only maybe 2 or 3 that I know that do it on eBay. But it's a different, and this is, us as one-off sellers. So hard to do that as a one-off seller. Jason asks, what do you sell? On eBay, I sell thrifted women's clothing mainly. On Amazon, on Amazon, I would say my main bread and butter is still clothing. And then sprinkle in some health, beauty, a tad bit of groceries, toys, and games.
And I've just been following
What do you sell?
Jack's advice. So what I've been searching for with Amazon, like, is just online arbitrage, just things I can get here, just things I can, find, dabbling back into some used electronics. And it's been going great. And it's a slower build because I'm sending everything to FBA. These are not the hottest sellers right away, but I'm again seeing the very consistent daily sales. It's something I can maintain. So I'm super grateful to Jack forever for being such a willing mentor to little old me. But Amazon is like it is scary, but you can't be scared. It's like, it's the kind of dragon you just have to look in the eyes and just be like, I'm here, I'm okay. You won't scare me, you won't intimidate me. Like, I just got an email from Amazon actually saying it's something I sold 4 years ago, but they're like, oh, this is restricted now. It's a pesticide. I'm like, okay, it's a t-shirt, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
But they'll just, and you just go, all right, I guess that's the next, you just roll with the punches. I've never had an email from Seller Central that I've looked forward to or wanted to receive. But again, you just look it in the face and you say, okay, I know what you are. It's fine. It'll be okay. I'm just going to keep moving with this platform. And if you play by the rules, for the most part, you'll be fine. You really will be, it really won't. Just don't sell restricted things. Don't bundle restricted things. Don't be shifty, shady. Don't price gouge, or, just all that stuff. And you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely things you can do to mitigate the risk there, and just keeping good records too of everything you buy.
Yes. And Caleb Roth is on, social media. He's a bookseller, and he sells insane amounts. I think he had a $30,000 day just from books.
That is amazing. And
if you want to get into Amazon, that is one of the best ways. I know it's like kind of slower, but you will not get restricted with books. They are very safe, very low returns, very, very low returns. Very few unhappy customers, no one. You'll get 5-star ratings. I built my first 200 feedback just from 5-star feedback, just from books. So that's a great place to start. It's not the sexiest. It's the turtlest of turtles with Amazon. But it's the slowest of the turtles. It's the one that's like 200 years old and moving like an inch a day, but it's great. And it's a good place to start. The app for scanning books, you can use Scout IQ. That's a good one. It's Caleb's, and I would recommend getting a barcode.
One of these, I think I have this, Ash. So I also, like Ashley, started with books, and this question is a little frustrating sometimes when people say I'm in an Amazon room and someone says, how much do you need to start? And it's like this big Amazon seller, and they're like, oh, you need like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. 10 is better. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I was poor when I started. I did not start, like, I don't feel like that's a great answer. I'm not now, again, they're on a different level, so no shade to them. They're doing millions. So to them, that's a little amount. But to me, being new, that might intimidate. It did intimidate me. But with the books, at least you're starting with such a low capital. You could literally start with $10, $20 at the thrift. And I had one of these scanners. It's a KDC 200. I don't even know I'm sure there's a better one now, because it makes the scanning faster than but even then, when I first started, I just used my phone. And then later I got this, you put it on Bluetooth and you put it Velcro on the back and you just go really, really fast. But I feel like the beginning is always about the process, not the profits. And you're learning with, $20 at the thrift versus, thousands of dollars. And then you can slowly build, but you definitely don't need a lot of capital for sure.
I think we're
Start as
similar in
zero.
that we started with, I had $1,000 just for my freelance writing business that I decided to pour into it. But I mean, that's just a few hundred, that goes fast. And there was
Yeah.
just a few $100s here and there. I started at Walmart and then I moved on to garage sales and I just realized, wow, I can 10x, 20x my money here. And it'll just grow and snowball. But yeah, you definitely don't need thousands of dollars to start. And I have extra KDCIs. I should offer them
yeah.
to the group because we were going to hire like
You
bookstores
should.
scanners, but we didn't end up doing that because hiring people has been a hurdle for me. So
Yeah,
I should
see
offer
if
that.
this works, and I'm happy to give it if anybody wants it. I got to check that it works. I mean, I haven't used it.
Can we talk about like what the mental, okay, because I'm weird. I never have wanted to do this by myself. Ever.
I
Like
did.
I literally get tired after 10 listings. Tech calls me the weakest lister ever because I literally have to sit down and have a cookie after 10 listings. That's like my max. Okay. I have to take a break.
You and Tech are night and day.
Yeah,
Are you an
exactly.
extrovert, Chris?
What?
Are you an extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
Yes, big time.
Introverts, I could list, oh, everyone go away all day. That's my dream. My happy place is an island where I only have access and I just can sit and be alone for eternity. I like could be alone so listing is my zen. And that's what I hate about hiring people because I'm like, dang it, I don't
Yeah.
want you here. I like being alone.
No, I agree. I'm actually an extrovert too, but I love listing.
Okay.
But because I feel the same way as you, it's like I'll save my good show for the listing. So I'm like, ooh, I get to watch my show or the podcast I've been like dying to listen to.
Yeah.
And it just allows me to zone out and just zen. So I feel like but that's how it is. There's always parts of this business that we dislike. For me, it's the photos.
No, but I'm just saying I would love for both of you this year, and I'm gonna challenge both of you to get at least like 10 hours a week of help.
I have that
I feel
already.
like that would be huge.
I have that, but what I want to do
Oh.
is up it.
So what would make you uncomfortable?
Oh gosh, I think so right now I have, let's see, I have about 15 to 20 hours of help. I think I could use 30 to 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm still, even with the help, I'm still working from when I open my eyes to when I go to sleep, which is usually like 11 or 12. So I'm still working a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But I want this to be, I mean, this is selfish, but I want everyone in the group for eBay to get easier over time. I know it sounds like maybe not possible, but it doesn't have to be as painful because I feel like it's gotten easier for me even as the store has been growing. I've learned more. There's more efficiencies now. I've learned to kill that squirrel DNA part of me. I have just amputated it. It's gone. Now when I see an item that's not in my niche, I'm like,
bye.
So I've never seen anybody more focused than Prince. He found a brand new iPod and it was like worth $300. He's like, it's not worth my time to list that brand new in box item.
Yeah.
It would have he could have listed it in the car in 1 second and it wasn't worth his time. That's how laser focused that dude is on one thing. So
but I think you hit on something really important, and that's like, say what you said, and that's pretend you're making $50 an hour or whatever.
yeah.
So, and back to the original in the beginning, when we're talking about where it's your secret sauce, and that's the sourcing. If you have the capital, not everyone does. I get it. That's a lot of reason why some of us start reselling is because we don't have the capital. Like me, I started reselling out of need. I literally didn't have my rent, but I did have a closet full of clothes. So bye-bye is how I started. So I didn't have the capital to be. But if you are in a position where wow, Ken and Faith, sorry, I just saw his 90-day total is 30K.
I
Amazing.
love it.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
And it's going up. Yes.
Going up. I love that 10K
Yes.
average. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Congrats.
So what was I saying? So I didn't have the capital to hire. However, I also greatly underestimated what a little bit of help time-wise could have really sparked my momentum a lot faster, my growth. So it was always my excuse. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money to hire. I don't have enough money to hire. I have bills to pay. Like I don't have enough money. But if I could start over and you could scroll away, enough for 10 hours of work, that's it. Just get 5 hours of help with photography or listing or whatever it is. Do it. Do it now. If I could go back and slap myself, I would, because that was a reason why my growth was slower than it could have been, because I didn't get help. And what we're doing, except for the sourcing, the photography, the putting away the inventory, the shipping, that is not hard. That is a lot easier to teach than, say, any other professions that we're in. And I feel like reselling, we're so lucky in so many ways. One, that we literally have a business that we could start with $10, go to the thrift, you open your eBay account, you go to the thrift, you buy 5 items and you list them, or 2 items, whatever. And there your business is born. There's not a lot of places I can say that. So I just feel like if you can afford to get help, even if it's only 5-10 hours a week. Ash, please get that photographer.
First step is recruiting my husband to help mornings or evenings.
Oh.
And he's home with me working, but he works a lot. So, but getting him to help with a little bit, he's offered, and I feel bad making him do it. But yeah, like I think that is the first step, and see what he can even just supplement for a couple hours here and there. And then yes, you're exactly right. I need to make that leap. I have the capital. I know it could take me to the next level, and especially as this baby's coming, I'm not going to have the time. I know. Chris doesn't quite know yet. You'll know, Chris. I mean,
Well,
when the baby comes, your life turns upside down, and it's okay. It's totally doable. Like I keep texting you aggressively without your consent, like get him on a schedule, get your baby on a schedule. It's possible, but it's I know that it's gonna upset a few things, or it's gonna cause some waves. So Monica, that's a great challenge, and I'm sure I'll be calling you about that. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And maybe I just start with a VA. I think it's a very soft way to ease into, and I know Denali, she has a VA and she's so good. I think it's time to take that leap.
Yeah.
So my wife just started maternity and she's off till September. So for the first time ever, she will be helping me. So that'll be interesting, because she's never helped. She's never watched a YouTube video. She's never done anything except for take items out of my store that she wants. So now we'll see what happens with her. She's like I think that, okay, I don't, my wife is different, because she's like extremely strict about our time together. And I think that is very motivating for me, because if I'm working, she's like, why are you still working? Can you just get it together so that you're done at a reasonable time? Don't you work for yourself? Aren't you the boss? So I'm like, that's true. So it's motivated me to really get my butt in gear, because I don't want to be distracted. Somebody was the one day that I was on, what's that app called? Clubhouse. There was a lady that shook me. She was like, I'm always working. When I'm with my baby, I'm texting on Poshmark, or I'm sharing. When I'm with my husband, I'm sending out offers to watchers. I'm never present with my family. And I was like, why are you telling people this? And I'm like, I want the opposite of that. I want to be present with my family. I'll respond to them after. Like, you can at least, like, you work for yourself, set up your own schedule. Tech never missed a baseball game of his kid. I want that. I want to be like, you know what? I could take the whole day off today because things are set up. And it's really motivating me to think, okay, I think the family will, if you are super motivated by that, I think that having a strict partner is nice sometimes, because she's like, why are we even together if you're never here? So that's like getting me into a different lane of like, okay, I gotta think bigger, because if I have to do everything, I will never be able to spend time with my family. That's like really helped me get her over that, because but that being said, I hired too soon. Tech maybe hired too late because he did the first
Same
decade
here.
by himself.
Same
But like, you know, you don't have to hire soon, but I just think that like right now he's on easy street. But he did put his dues in though. And I feel like Jack and Tech have that DNA of like, you save so much money when you do it yourself. The margin is so high. And I always say that the highest skill resellers have is grading. So when Jack was able to determine that item was worth slightly more, you lose that when you hire someone. Yeah, you lose it when you hire someone. So you have to really be on it. So when you do hire someone, the last thing you should do is let somebody else launch your listing. That's pretty much,
Oh
you
yeah.
can have somebody clean for you, anything. But when you press that launch button, make sure it's the best listing you can. And I would love to see, I would love to help Ashley for 20 hours and see if I help you for 20 hours, do we list 100 items a day and 7 YouTube videos a week? I don't know.
I don't feel that I am managing my time even now as well as I could. So once I've really wrung every drop of my efficiency out of my day, I'm still not quite there. I know I waste time, and I've been using an app called Toggle to help me track my time a little bit better. Like I probably have like low key ADHD with like distractions and oh, the house needs to be cleaned, oh, the I need to get groceries and I have to plan meals, or I have to get this in the slow cooker now, or the cleaner's coming, or I have an appointment, or blah 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 blah. Like I could definitely manage my day a little bit better, and I feel like once I get to a certain point, I've kind of made it my goal to get to like a certain sales number with both eBay and Amazon, and a certain number of YouTube videos a week, just 2 videos. That's just two versus the one. Then I feel like, okay, I have mastered the efficiency in my day. Now it's time to bring someone on board who can take a task away, or ease up with a task. And so I still feel like I need to get there. I just, I'm not, yeah, I'm totally willing to admit I still have gaps in my efficiency and my time structure.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
It's hard not to. And I
It's hard
feel like,
it's hard with kids. It's hard with a husband working with you from home. It's just all of it is distracting and can be hard.
yeah, and that's what we all share. We all share distractions, feeling like overwhelmed, trying to get all the items crossed off our list. One thing that I started, so this year, I'm trying not to be so hard on myself. And that's one thing Ashley and I also share that we bond over. We could literally talk for 2 hours about how we need to stop doing this, but it's
Wait, can I see if this works for you guys? So Tech was talking yesterday about how his secret is that he doesn't do it for himself. He's
Yeah.
focused on getting his family to where they want to be. And so he's always thinking about them. So he doesn't worry about how he feels. Since now I have 4 people working for me, I just want, and I know all 4 of them need me financially. So I'm good now. I'm just making sure that the day is set up for the next, like all their tasks are ready for the next day. And I feel like that pressure has elevated me to a different level. I'm a way different person now. Like I watched my first YouTube video the other day and I was like, holy crap, I'm a different person. And at that same time, I remember I still have this text from Ashley that says, should I start a YouTube channel? It's just motivating me because this is 2017. That's not even that long ago.
Right.
Right. And now Ashley went from that to now earning $10,000 a month profit. That's insane. That's 4 years. And while having kids and a husband.
Yeah, plural.
Yeah, plural. So, I mean, it's not, I can't say everyone can do it, but like it's possible if you put in the work. And Ashley had this thing that she said that also gives me peace, which is sometimes she's just building a foundation. She might not have time now because she was always saying, once my kids get into school, I'll have a little bit more time. And she was able to turn it on once the time allowed her to do that. If you're busy right now, it doesn't mean you can't learn the fundamentals.
Absolutely. And yes, there's doing something is better than nothing. Building something consistently is better than putting all of your gas into it and then burning out and then quitting because you tried too hard. Just the little steps. And Monica's been with me through these like ups and downs where I've been like,
Yeah.
Monica. So
Monica
and
was
Monica
the
gave me advice I'll never forget ever, that it changed my life. She said, your kids are little once. And like we had a very honest conversation. Like she said she would give anything to go back to have her son being tiny. And in the moment I'm like, but diapers and potty training and screaming and tantrums, but like she's so right. Like even now my kids are 7 and 8 and I look back and I'm like, whoa, my babies are grown. What happened? Wait. And that was one of the things that sparked us to go, maybe we're not done, because you miss it. And that's where I look back and I'm like, I was here. I was there for them. Yes, my business slowed down from when I first started. I was like full throttle, no sleep. And then I slowed down and I just said, okay, we're just going to do little bricks here and we're going to do what we can for a little while. And I'm so glad I did that because I look back now with no regrets. I don't look back with regret and I'm sure I was still a little focused on my business at times when I shouldn't have been, but I will never look back with, and no one ever will look back and be like, oh, I regret all those hours I spent with my kids. You don't regret that.
Yeah. And I feel like having choices is a luxury. So it's like, don't beat yourself up. And it's just beautiful that you have the choice to spend time and,
Right.
And I'm so glad you did.
To appreciate that and to go, I have the time to make this, I with our finances, we can do this part-time and I don't have to go full throttle. Of course it's different if you do, you just have to make it work and it's okay. But like, yeah, I had that gift and I was squandered. I was like, you're like, Monica was like, cherish that and appreciate that and hold on to that. So.
Yeah. There's a reason why all parents always say the time goes by so fast. It's because it really does. I feel like it just really does. And they're just little, that special little period when they're little, like before school, and they have their cute little voices and they say the wrong things. It's such a special time.
If my baby is born in the next 3 days, it'll be a Pisces. And if it's born after that, it'll be an Aries baby. So I get a fish baby or a war baby. So I'm excited to see what that does, because I would say most resellers that I know that make a full-time living or more are parents. Most, not all of them, but there's a different gear that you go into. And parents get more done. There's more to do. So they already understand time management. They know how to work. Raising a kid is work. So that's like, it's good to know. And knowing that you can earn some time freedom with this. There's people in the chat talking about how they chose eBay versus other occupations because they can do it at home. You can do it on your schedule. That's very true. So if you just keep thinking about, if you want to be master of your own domain and work on your own schedule, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that too, because you got to, when you work a 9 to 5, they tell you what to do. The people that just left, they're done. I'm not done. I got to put stuff away after this call. And that is the reality. I mean, tech really unlocked it for me when I started to think about how many people he affects. 40 employees, hundreds of families, thousands of customers. And when you start thinking about that, then I feel like, when I get in my own way, it's me thinking about what I want. But like, I'm good, actually. So I can start worrying about other people. And I think that makes it easier to not worry about yourself too, because beating yourself up, I think that's all inward focused. And if you want to have, like, I'm assuming my wife is not going to go back to work, even though she says she would love to go back to work. Maybe she will, but it could happen. She could be like, nope, I'm good. I like this more. Right. So I'm already assuming that, but I don't know. I hear that people who have babies have an extra gear. So I'm curious if I've been asleep at the wheel this whole time. And now when this baby comes, I'll be like, oh, wait, I've only been operating at 30%. I've got 70% more to give this. I don't know. I don't
No.
know
Chris and I
what's
definitely
in
look
here.
at each other and we're like, what did we do with our time before kids? We don't even know. What was Sunday?
I don't
Why did
know.
I ever feel busy? You just start to, well, I think it just, you rearrange your life and you realize like it's the best thing because you just see so much. This chamber in your heart gets unlocked of caring and love and compassion and selflessness that just, it's hard to unlock any other way. So it just opens a new side of you for sure. I'm excited for you, Chris. I'm gonna the communication channels are open. I want to hear how it's going every day.
Want to hear it all.
Thank you so much for
Wanna hear it
taking
all.
the time to write me little tutorials. I feel like it takes a village to raise a baby, they say, right?
Yeah.
So how come everyone's trying to do reselling by themselves?
Yeah.
Why?
I
If
know.
it takes a village to raise a baby who can't do anything,
Right.
we have all this baggage from decades of doing the wrong thing and beating ourselves up. I think you should just get the right kind of community.
Mhm.
And Monica, you sometimes you get into this gear where you turn off social media.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
my thinking is sometimes you burn out because you're going solo so hard.
Mhm.
Then you kind of overcompensate and go like hardcore community to build yourself back up again. During that, like when I see you go off and you're in grind mode, I think I need to do a better job of like encouraging you and being like, okay, this is when you're going way too hard on yourself and going too overly ham, and then you need to recover.
Yeah.
So I think like you kind of need community the whole time.
But for me, it's exactly what you said about when you have kids, they the parent seems to unlock an extra gear. And for me, that's always been this immense, and all parents will agree, I'm sure, it's this immense feeling of responsibility. It's just me. It's me and my son. That's it. I'm it. And so I always use that as sometimes to the detriment where I'm like, no, I can't stop. I need to have this much in my savings. I need to hit this number because what if something happens to me, or what if Bash needs something? I have to be the one to provide it. So it's this sense of responsibility that I feel like I can't take breaks. And I know that's not healthy. And I'm trying to get out of that. I mean, of course, I'm always going to be responsible. That's my son. But I can't always just say that as to why I'm just never going to take breaks.
I have one more rant. Sorry, I know we're going long.
No.
I was just thinking like, with your baby, a lot of stuff's non-negotiable. Like you got to feed your baby, you got to take care of, you got to change the diapers. It's non-negotiable. And I was just talking to Tech yesterday on our podcast. His eBay success is not negotiable.
Mhm.
He gets his listings up no matter what. He couldn't even think of a reason yesterday why he wouldn't be able to do 250 listings a day. And I was like thinking, oh, wow, my success is apparently very negotiable. If I don't feel like it, no success that day because I didn't feel like it. His is not, though. His is not. His is going to happen no matter what. The power went out for him 4 hours. For 4 hours yesterday, I think he was still done early. Even with like a 4 hour, can't do anything. So I don't want my success to be negotiable. I don't like that. I want it to happen no matter what. And Mark gave that analogy of a steamroller. Everything just gets squished along the way, but a steamroller doesn't move that fast. But that's like Tech. He's like our leader. He's just going. Everything gets squished along the way that gets in his way, and it just happens. So you don't need to move quickly. Sometimes he stays at the same level for a whole year before he increases his listings. You can be patient. Everyone's like, oh, I'll double my listings next week.
But I think what
That's
the difference
crazy.
is that he masters it.
Yeah.
He's not like, I mean, and you've talked about this yourself, not to pick on you, but when you started, how you were trying to do everything.
Yeah, definitely.
You got in all these categories. You were like, I want to do this, I want to sell on this platform. but you
Mhm.
didn't master it before you went on to the next thing.
Definitely not.
I mean, now your
No,
success is
no, but
amazing.
no, I'm
But
happy to admit
I
that.
think that's the difference, is that tech will master a activity and then increase.
Well, one more thing that he does is when he does something new, the previous ship doesn't sink.
Right. He keeps it going.
All ships rise. So that's something that you need to think about. Like as Ashley grows her YouTube channel, she can't let eBay slip. She can't let Amazon slip. She's got to learn a way to grow all of them at the same time. And maybe when you think that way, you stop trying to move quickly because you can't.
Yeah. Right.
How could you possibly like, I'm going to double the videos I make next month. What got sacrificed for you to do that?
Right. And is it the quality of the videos? Is it the content?
Or time with your family?
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Which is not, again, that's a non-negotiable, right? For
Right.
me, it's
Yeah.
time with my kids, time with my family.
Yeah.
So that, but there's, again, that's where you can just look back and go, look, others do it. Others make it work. Tech makes it work. You make it work. Monica makes it work. You can do it. So as much as I do give myself grace, and I encourage other moms, especially, to give themselves lots of grace, because being a parent, being a mom sucks a lot of energy out. More, it's a very draining thing to
Mhm.
then also work on top of it. So it's totally okay some days to just say, you know what, today was not my day. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. But I see people who make it work, and that inspires me to go, Ash, you can do this. Like, as much as some days you're tired or you're exhausted, it's all, every time even I pray about it and I'm thinking, how do I fix this? It always comes back to, Ashley, it's time to figure out your schedule again and hone it a little more, a little more, a little more. And that's always been the answer for me, is my schedule's a little sloppy. I need to tighten it up just a little more, just a little bit more. And that's where you really can fit in all of those things. And I think we do tend to waste more time than we think. I do.
Sure. I
More
do
trips to
too.
the kitchen, more
Mhm.
trips to whatever, or like distractions on my phone, where I think Monica's so smart to delete social media for a while when she's in the zone.
Don't open TikTok, Ashley. Don't do it. Just kidding. But I
That's
think
my
one thing
reward at the end of
will
the
help
day.
me, like with the mental part of it, is, and I feel this, I know for moms, because we do usually have the um brunt of the, doing the kids' activities, not all the time, but I am like the queen of, again, like negative self-talk, which I've made really great strides last year. But one of those things that was hard for me was like when I would go to sleep at night, and I know a lot of people probably can relate to this. You think of everything you didn't do. You're like, shoot, I didn't put in that load of laundry. Darn it, I didn't go to the grocery store. Shoot, I didn't get 20 listings up. I only got 10. You start to think of everything you didn't do. You're like this laundry list of things, and including laundry that you didn't do. So I've been trying to shift that to then, when my head hits the pillow at night, to start thinking what I did do. Like, wow, I got 10 listings up today. I did my shipping. I went to the grocery store. I did it. I did. And you start to like think, dang, I did a lot today. I picked up the kids. I did it. And I made dinner. It's insane how all the little activities, they add up. And so it's easy to just forget that you did it that day because it's supposed to be a daily thing. So that's really helped me a lot, to think of what I did do versus what I didn't do.
And to celebrate it. I think you and I have talked about that too. Celebrate the little things that you did with your kids. Did you take them to the zoo? That deserves celebration. Or
Yeah.
just, did you manage a few tantrums today? Like those are big things that, and like, we also kind of talk about how Instagram rewards things that sometimes shouldn't be rewarded all the time. And they
Yeah.
don't necessarily, it's not as popular to say,
No, like,
yeah.
yeah. Because we
So,
actually talked about that, exactly like she said. Well, we can make a package post and get, a lot of likes. Again, not that that matters, but we're just reflecting. But
yeah.
then you post something, or you talk about something that's really deep, or, something that you really care about, and the engagement isn't there. And you're just like, not that you shouldn't post that, absolutely not, but just saying how social media rewards certain things. So Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
And I love that idea of keeping track of what you've done and patting yourself on the back for what you've done. And even if that means journaling, write a few things down. What were the highlights of the day? Because as
Mhm.
much as the day can be hard, or you didn't accomplish X, Y, or Z, what was good? Where did you see the silver lining and the happy moments? Was it when, like, sometimes I just think with my kids when they laughed or giggled, or when we built Legos together, or watched Harry Potter together, or those are such huge celebratory moments, and in many ways more important than maybe that day's sales.
Yeah,
Again, though, especially when they're tiny and it's hard, it's give yourself lots of grace. I do want to emphasize that as well.
for sure. And then just I wanted to answer one question that I think I missed. Someone asked, Moana, love that name, asked, what's the lowest profit on clothing before it's not worth your time to list? So that question came when I was talking about Amazon. So speaking about that being my bread and butter. So correct me if that's not what you meant. So for me, my bread and butter does come from clothes, and I do a route of mainly like Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, the discount stores. I like to focus on the clearance sections because that's where you can get the biggest ROI. So I shoot in the clearance section. It's not unheard of to be shooting for about 100% ROI because it's already a discount store plus it's marked down. So I shoot for that. If I'm going to the regular sections, I doesn't necessarily have to be 100% because a lot of times in the regular sections, you're getting multiples. So say I find something for, I don't know, 60, 70, 80% ROI, but there's like 5 of them or 6 of them versus in the clearance section, sometimes there's only 1 or 2. Then I think about those multiples and throwing it in a bag and sending it to FBA. So that's kind of how I do my routes there.
Thanks, Monica. Sorry, it's Milana here. I just I'm in Australia, and I'm lucky enough. I've got a massive resource where I can get thrifted clothes for about $1.
Thrifted clothes. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. So I'm doing the thrifted clothes for $1, but I really don't. I'm really learning about fashion. So I'm picking brands that I've seen before, and then a lot of them I'm just picking them because I like them and they look cute. And then when I get them home, I realize they're not as cute as I thought they were, or they're quite cheap. And so I'm kind of like now got a pile of stuff. I go, is that even worth listing? Like, is that even worth my time? So I'm going through the calculator, the eBay calculator with the feet. And just for context, our postage here is really expensive. So people are looking at least $9 for postage on top of the item. So when I look at the item, what I'm realizing is that some of my sales are slow. And I think it's because by the time I charge them $10, $15 for the item, plus the postage, it ends up being too high. So I'm kind of trying to gauge now, like on those lower items, where is my cutoff, like profit wise, where I should just kind of go, actually, I probably just need to redonate this, or maybe bundle it together or do something else with them.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, sometimes if I'm getting things for like $1 and I know it's like a very simple Fabletics top or like a Adidas top or whatever, t-shirt that I think will sell for like $10. I'm totally willing to put those in my store. Not everything is 10, but those tend to sell pretty quickly because they're just, it's easier for someone to pay $10 for something versus 20, 30, 40, 100. And those can tend to be when anything you list, anything you sell is boosting your traffic. So I like those little $10 things because then I'm more likely to sell more just with momentum throughout the day. But I would say, be a little picky with them. Even though something might be $10, but it might sit for a long time if it's not the right brand or the right style. So perhaps, I'm thinking an auction, putting those up for auction, because then you're not so worried. Well, if it sells for a few dollars plus shipping, that's at least a big boost that day for my store. It gets you good feedback. But if something has wear on it, and I don't think it'll sell for more than $5, $6, then I'll just probably redonate and move on and try again. That's me, but I would love to hear what Monica does.
Is that plus postage? Because my postage is $9, so a $10 item would essentially be $20.
Right. That is not including postage for me. That would be like $10 plus $4 shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see gosh, yeah, if it's a pricier postage, that might be tricky. And that's where maybe it would be good to bundle or put like sizes together of or similar brands together. Yeah. But I do tend to, I prefer putting things in my store than donating. That's like my very last resort, right? Because
Me too.
the CPA, my friend, is like, anything that sells is going to help you get that money back. Donating is the worst option because then you've literally lost that money. So so I do try to do that because for just the very bare minimum, it's a sacrifice to the eBay gods to bring more sales to my store, right? And I think Monica does something similar, but you tell me, Monica.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I 100% agree with everything Ashley said. And so I started very similar like you, where I was able to get things for $1. So I started with Dollar Day, and I was actually 100% auction in the beginning for the first, I'd say 4-ish years. And I was very modest about the actual dollars in my pockets. I would start everything at $5.99 or $7.99 plus shipping, which was normally $4 or $5. So it's $5.99, $7.99 plus shipping. And so I'm getting everything for $1, but I was in the volume game. So I'd list 100 auctions on Sunday and Saturday and 100 auctions on Sunday. So, 100 over the weekend. So every weekend I'd have 200 fresh new auctions ending, plus the ones that didn't sell from the previous week relisted. So yes, my margins weren't huge, but I was selling volume. And I didn't ever have to worry about if my sales week was going to be like up or down, because once I got it going, it was really consistent. My weekends were really, really consistent. And it's a good way to, and I did that accidentally. I just thought everybody did auctions. I was on social media. I didn't even know there was buy it nows. I just did it out of being ill-informed, but I wouldn't say ill because I did learn. But a side benefit to that was that way I learned what the good brands were, because I'd pick stuff up not knowing certain brands, and I would be like, oh, this got a lot of bids, so this is a good item. So then I'd like keep it in my memory bank, and that's how I learned, by things getting a lot of bids. So I feel like that might still work, and knowing like you might only get one bid at $5.99, $7.99, but also if you're trying to build your store, it's a conversion, and conversion is a magnet to more conversions, sales. So that's more conversions under your belt, the better for you.
That's really great. That's really helpful. Thank you. That's what I'm going to start doing. I think I have to pay though in Australia for auctions. I think it's $3 per listing and free for buy it now. So I'll have to have it go and check that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get 600 free buy it now listings, but my auctions are $3 a piece. So
okay. And so then in that case, you could just maybe do a test. But if that was the case, then what I would do is I would do a test, maybe do like a group, maybe say 20 of buy it nows, and do like, just try different things like free shipping, knowing that you're going to put that $9 postage into your price, and the bare minimum of what you would be happy with. Say it's $5, maybe you start modest. So it's all these buy it nows of decent items for $15.99 or whatever. And then do another test where, and no best offer. So this is a good price, less than $20 out the door. And then you got another group, maybe you will do the postage, and maybe you'll price it a little higher and do a best offer option, and just kind of see how each one performs. I'm a big proponent of doing tests yourself and seeing which way works. So if something's not working for you that seems to work for everyone else, just keep tweaking it and testing.
That's really helpful. Thank you. I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff on the weekend.
Yeah, yes.
I think I was getting lazy on the listing because it was taking me so long, and I'm kind of like Chris, where it takes me forever to do it. And yesterday I listed 25. I had 25 in the queue, and it took me that like 12-hour day. Like I didn't just sit there because I'm up and I'm down, and I'm like, oh, I can't even be asked like listing these for $5. Like they're going to take forever. So so I'm going to put them back in the list. So thank you.
It's so much more motivating to list things you're excited about. So I totally get it when you have a pile behind you. Like I have a pile of like duds, that I'm like, oh, I know I need to get to these. It's so hard. So I'm right with you there. But we'll both be in the same boat. Know that you're with me. We're going to be doing these auctions. We're going to be liquidating some stuff and listing some of the not exciting stuff, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Thank you, girls. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Monica.
Hi, Isaiah. Is this wifey?
This is her. She
Hi.
actually had something she wanted to tell you. Like
Oh,
6 weeks
'cause I-
ago, you told her to start her store and she had some news
Yeah.
for you.
Yes.
So I am at 357 listings already.
Wow. No way.
Yeah,
Hold on.
40
I gotta go list some stuff.
I have 40 sold, and my 6-week total is $991.
What? You just beat my first 6 weeks like by a lot, girl. That's amazing. Yay. Thank you for
awesome.
sharing.
You said yes, wifey, do it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what, wifey will do it, and wifey's doing it.
Yes, taking action. Thank you for sharing that. I was watching you guys. When we were all talking, I'm like, that's Isaiah's wifey. I hope they talk. I want to know if that is amazing. Thank you for sharing.
The other crazy thing is she's been doing this for 6 weeks and she's faster than me at listing. Like so my best listing speed on my phone was 125. And right now I've been trying to figure out how to list on the computer. So I'm at about like 150 or so for 15 listings. And she can do 16 in an hour and 19 minutes. And I'm like, dude, like, what is this?
Yeah.
But,
it's awesome.
That's so motivating. See, I mean, I know for me, like I said, I'm the turtle crew, so I took a little while. But when you start off the gate strong like that, that's motivating to list more, right? And you're like, I got this. I may have money in my pocket. I just bought something with eBay money or Posh. This is real. Oh my God, I just bought this. So that is so motivating. Thank you for sharing. So are you, because I can't remember if Isaiah said you were going to do Posh or eBay.
You actually told me stop it with Posh, so
I
stopped.
did. How rude!
Like I still have my list. But thank you, Anna. I still have my stuff up on Posh. I'm not sharing as much because I'm focused on eBay. So like my eBay sales have surpassed my Posh sales. Like they surpassed them in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Some periods
like that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And again, like I don't want no shade on Posh.
Yeah, no shade.
Yeah, like it works for some people. I guess it would be really hard to convince me with given eBay's history and the amount of customers on their platform versus the age and history and the amount of buyers, not sellers, buyers on Poshmark's platform. It is no one can convince me, and I'm sure there's 1 or 2 randos out there, that if you put 1 hour into eBay and the same hour into Posh, that you're not going to make more on eBay. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen it yet. Again, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 randos out there.
I think when it comes to sales, like Poshmark does in a year what eBay does in like a month or something like that. Like they're not even in the same, like as in the company eBay versus the company Poshmark. Like they're not even in the same category.
And so when said, you have Posh in your name, that I had my name before Poshmark. That was
you can't prove it now though. See, it's like everyone thinks that you're the person that does Poshmark.
I know, but I thank you for sharing. That is unbelievable. And that's why I like being one of the many reasons I like being in these groups, because I mean, I'm lucky that I do have like Ash and Jack and who are my friends, but being in these groups and meeting new people, there's a different kind of energy, especially with new sellers. Like see new sellers, like you come in and you're like making sales right away, and your excitement, it's like that new excitement in the beginning, like it's bouncing off you onto me. Now I'm trying to go list some right now when we're done, because I'm like, okay.
You should have saw her like last week though, because like Tech was like, hey, I understand, because sales were slower last week. And she was worried, and then Tech was like, "Hey, talk to me in 10 months, and if you're set and list every day for 10 months. If your sales aren't good, then then we can talk.
Then we
And
can complain and whine.
but so it's really, really, really good how her store is starting to take off. And like there's some days where, well, there's some days where she's getting really, really close to me in sales, and I've been doing it for like 6 months. So it's just really interesting seeing how she's working. Tech believes that she's gonna catch up to me and smoke me, but like I'm bringing the heat. So.
Oh shoot! Now it's this rivalry. Like, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And yeah, and it's so nice being in these groups of like being able to share these stories, and meet and know people on a more personal level for sure. So yeah.
Thank you though. Thank you so very much.
Of course, next 6 weeks I got you.
Yes, girl. Yes. Team wifey. Wait, what tanked? I'm missing the chat here.
The Poshmark stock.
No.
Is it? Yeah, we've been keeping track of it too, as my husband's been keeping track of crypto stuff. He's like, "Have you seen Posh?" I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
It's telling. Who knows though? It could come back.
So I think we're coming up. Chris, are you around?
I think Chris is gone now. I think Tech hopped on as the host, so I think we can end whenever, Monica.
Yeah,
If you
I
feel
definitely want to be
wrap it up.
respectful of everyone's time, and thank you for even sticking up with us.
Yeah.
2 hours, Ash. It's just like a big phone call for us.
This is normal for us. We could
Yeah.
just go. We've just gotten started, Monica.
You know, after we hang up here, we're gonna be like, Ashley, what are you doing?
Okay. Okay, now the tea. What's the tea
What is
like?
the tea? Tech, are you around, Miss Tech? I'm just unsure how he's going to, and I'm here. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, I guess we're ready to wrap it up. I definitely want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah.
We had
Thank
so
you,
many,
guys.
yeah, we had so many friends, such a great group here. I'm so happy to be with everyone and connect. And you know where to find Ash and I. We're in the Facebook group. So please just drop us a note if you guys need anything. Think of any questions. But thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks, you
Thank
guys.
you, Ash. Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.